Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to plunge into some pretty complex information and, well, pull out the insights that actually matter to you.
That's the plan.
So our mission today, we're going to unpack the global scene for construction accounting and project management software.
Right.
Now, construction, it might feel like a really traditional industry. Hard hats, blueprints, maybe some concrete dust everywhere.
Absolutely. Very hands-on.
But the numbers we're about to dive into, they tell this really fascinating story about a huge tech revolution happening right now. We're drawing our insights today from excerpts of the Construction Software Market Report 2025-2033. That's from Cognitive Market Research.
A solid source.
Okay, let's unpack this. Why should you care about construction software market numbers? Well, simply put, because they reveal this massive transformation unfolding right before our eyes. It's changing how buildings get built, how budgets get managed, how projects, get finished.
Exactly. And when we talk about this software, we're essentially talking about tools that bring an entire construction project together digitally. Think about it from the initial bids, managing suppliers, even payroll, all the way through to tracking progress in real time and handling the final invoices. It's all in one integrated system.
It's like replacing those old clipboards and endless spreadsheets with dynamic dashboards you can see on a tablet.
All right, even out on a muddy job site, that's the power of it.
So, okay, let's zoom out first. Look at the big global picture here. Back in 2021, this market, even with all the spreadsheets still floating around, it was already a powerhouse. It generated, get this, $6,264.48 million in revenue.
$6.2 billion, not small change.
Not at all. Now, fast forward just a few years to 2025 and that number. It's projected to jump up to $8,722.4 million.
Significant growth.
But wait, hold on to your hard hats, because the real eye-opener is the projection for 2033.
Yeah.
By then, the market is expected to hit an absolutely stunning $16,909.8 million. That's more than doubling in, about 8 years? A huge leap. Here's where it gets really interesting.
It truly is. And that nearly $17 billion figure by 2033 isn't just a big number in isolation. It represents a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR of 8.627%.
2.6% compounded annually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating here is that consistent, robust growth, it really signals a fundamental shift in how the construction industry operates globally. We're not just talking about, tweaking things slightly. This is about real-time collaboration. Architects, engineers, foremen on site, all connected.
Reducing those costly errors, speeding things up.
Precisely. And getting unprecedented visibility into where every single dollar is going. It's a rapid move towards fully digitized, integrated workflows.
Okay, so that kind of strong global growth, it naturally makes you wonder, where exactly is this digital gold rush happening? Where's the traction? Let's drill down a bit, break the market down by region. Let's start with a long-standing leader,
right?
North America. This region has shown incredibly strong adoption. Back in 2021, North America accounted for $2,367.97 million. That's projected to reach $6,070.62 million by 2033. Still a solid KGR there, too, 8.163%.
Yeah, and what stands out about North America is that steady expansion. If we connect this to the bigger picture, North America's steady expansion shows the continued imperative for efficiency, even in these established markets.
Right, even in mature markets.
Exactly. The United States is obviously a huge driver within that. It's expected to grow from just under $2 billion in 2021 to almost $4.9 billion by 2033. That's an 8% CAGR just for the U.S.
Wow.
But it's not only the U.S. We see Canada pushing towards $705 million and Mexico reaching over $507 million by 2033. It shows this broad regional commitment to optimizing how things get built, often through really sophisticated solutions like integrating building information modeling, BIM.
Oh, BIM data, right.
Yeah, linking that BIM data directly with the financial systems. That allows for things like predictive cost analysis, which can massively reduce waste, especially on big infrastructure projects.
Makes sense. Okay, let's shift across the pond now over to Europe. Their market is also set for pretty significant expansion. It's moving from about $1.34 billion in 2021 to over $3.4 billion projected by 2033. That's growing at a very healthy 8.165% CAGR, actually slightly higher than North America's rate.
Interesting.
Germany is clearly leading the pack there, projected to grow to over $750 million by 2033. The UK is also a major player, heading towards $542 million. Then you've got France around $406 million, Spain at $262 million, Italy near $295 million by 2033. But, this raises an important question. How are different regulatory environments and maybe construction practices influencing adoption across these varied European economies? It's not one single market, is it?
That's a fantastic point. And no, it absolutely isn't monolithic. Europe is, well, diverse. Take Germany, for instance. They have a strong emphasis on engineering standards, right? And there's been a proactive push towards mandatory BIM in some areas.
Okay.
That tends to drive a need for very structured, comprehensive software. They're often looking for robust enterprise-level solutions. But then you look at Southern Europe. Growth is still happening, for sure, but you might see a faster uptake of more agile, cloud-based project management tools.
Why that?
Well, maybe they're better suited for quicker, smaller scale developments, or perhaps for firms that don't have as much legacy IT infrastructure to deal with. So the pace and the type of software being adopted are very much tied to local regulations, existing industry practices, project types, all that stuff.
Fascinating. Okay, now, if you're looking for where the real acceleration is happening,
Yeah.
it seemed to be Asia Pacific.
Absolutely. That's where the momentum is.
Yeah, the numbers show the highest momentum here. Its market value is set to increase from roughly $1.6 billion in 2021 to a substantial $4.75 billion by 2033. And that gives it the strongest overall CGR across the globe, 9.556%, almost hitting double digits.
That's remarkable growth.
China, being the regional heavyweight, is forecasted to grow to over $1.4 billion by 2033. But listen to this. It's India that's truly putting on a show. It has the highest individual CKGR in the report, 10.376%.
Wow, over 10%.
Yeah, going from about $239 million in 2021 up to nearly $780 million by 2033. We also see really strong growth in Japan, heading towards $725 million, South Korea at $450 million, and particularly Southeast Asia as a bloc climbing from $137 million towards $434 million by 2033.
You know, what's fascinating here is the sheer scale and speed of growth in Asia Pacific, especially in markets like India and Southeast Asia. It really suggests a significant leapfrogging effect in technology adoption for their booming construction sectors.
Leapfrogging, meaning they skip older tech.
Exactly. Many firms there might be bypassing traditional desktop software entirely and going straight to cloud-native mobile-first applications.
Because mobile is so prevalent.
Precisely. It's perfectly suited for their often remote or maybe fragmented workforces. It lets them manage projects efficiently with just a smartphone, which is, frankly, much more accessible than investing in complex, expensive on-premise IT systems. It's really a testament to how these digital tools can democratize access to some pretty powerful capabilities.
Interesting. Okay, moving geographically south now to South America, this market is also showing really healthy growth. It's expanding from just under $400 million in 2021 to over $1.1 billion projected by 2033. That's a strong CAGR too, 8.926%.
Almost 9%, also very strong.
Brazil is leading the charge there, projected to reach almost $440 million. Argentina is also poised to hit over $213 million. And the report mentions consistent expansion across Chile, Colombia, Peru, and the rest of South America as well.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, the consistent expansion in South America really reflects increasing investment in infrastructure and rapid urbanization across the continent. As these economies continue to develop, the demand for efficient, transparent project management and accounting tools isn't just a nice-to-have anymore.
It becomes a necessity.
It becomes a necessity, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially for managing these complex, large-scale builds, it's about bringing order and predictability to what can sometimes be pretty challenging construction environments.
Makes sense. Okay, next up, the Middle East. Revenues there are projected to rise from about $326 million in 2021 to nearly $900 million, $899.094 million to be precise by 2033. Saudi Arabia is the largest contributor in this region, nearing $250 million in projections, followed by the UAE at around $168 million, and Turkey close behind at about $167 million. Qatar and Egypt also represent smaller but clearly growing markets, according to the report.
You know, this region is characterized by some of the most ambitious, truly large-scale construction projects globally. We're talking megacities, iconic structures.
Think of projects, yeah.
Exactly. And this raises an important question. Given these massive, complex projects in the Middle East, how critical is advanced software for managing such endeavors?
You'd assume absolutely critical.
Foundational, I'd say. For these kinds of projects, integrated solutions offering real-time financial tracking, supply chain visibility, comprehensive risk management, they aren't just an advantage, they are fundamental to success. The scale, the speed, the precision required, you just can't manage that effectively on paper anymore.
No way. Okay, finally, let's round out our global tour with Africa. The market here is growing from about $244 million in 2021 to nearly $670 million, $669.797 million projected by 2033.
Still significant growth, even from a smaller base.
Definitely. South Africa is leading the region, growing from around $91 million to over $266 million. Nigeria and the rest of Africa category are also showing healthy growth, with tier GRs reported above 7.5%.
And what's fascinating here, I think, is the significant potential for growth in Africa. You see digital transformation just beginning to take hold in these emerging construction markets.
So maybe another leapfrog situation.
It could well be. Similar to parts of Asia-Pacific, as new projects ramp up and urban development accelerates, you'll likely see firms bypassing older methods. They might jump straight to modern, agile software solutions that can be implemented quickly and scaled pretty efficiently as they grow.
Wow. Okay. What a tour of the world through the lens of construction software. We've seen some really impressive figures, some serious growth rates from this report.
Absolutely. The numbers tell quite a story.
But, beyond the specific figures for each region. So what does this all mean for you, the listener, and maybe for the construction industry as a whole? What's the big takeaway?
Well, I think the report makes it abundantly clear that this market construction accounting and project management software, it's experiencing strong fundamental growth worldwide.
Right.
And the core drivers identified aren't just buzzwords. They're real profound shifts. Digital transformation is happening, cloud adoption is widespread now, and there's this intense push for automation.
It's not just about faster spreadsheets.
Not at all. It's about, going from stacks of physical blueprints to real-time 3D models you can access on a tablet, instantly updating schedules, instantly updating budgets as changes happen right there on site.
Game changer.
Totally. And while North America and Europe, yes, they remain mature, steady markets.
It's growing, though.
Still growing, absolutely. But it's really Asia-Pacific, especially places like India and Southeast Asia, that stand out. They're the fastest growing, likely due to that leapfrog effect we discussed. So if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's just undeniable that these technological shifts aren't merely trends. They are fundamental, probably irreversible changes reshaping the entire global construction industry.
Wow.
And that impacts everything, doesn't it? Project timelines, cost efficiency, sure, but also labor force requirements, skill sets, even things like environmental sustainability by helping reduce material waste.
That really frames the enormity of this shift. It's not just about software clicks. It's fundamentally changing how we build the world around us.
Exactly. Which, maybe raises an important question for you, the listener, to consider. As more traditional industries like construction really embrace these advanced digital tools, how might this widespread adoption of specialized software impact, say, global economic development, or the very nature of work and job markets in the coming decades? Will it primarily lead to new types of tech-focused jobs, or will it fundamentally change the skills needed for those traditional roles we see on a construction site today?
That is a truly thought-provoking question to chew on as we wrap up. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Welcome to the deep dive. Every single construction project, big or small, skyscraper, bridge, even just a house renovation, they're all under this constant, relentless pressure.
Absolutely. Deliver on time, stay under budget, and make sure it's perfect.
Exactly. But how do they actually manage that? Today, we're doing a deep dive into, well, the engine room behind it all, the construction accounting and project management software market.
Yeah, and this isn't just about swapping paper for screens.
No, it's much bigger. It feels like a fundamental global shift, really reshaping how, every beam gets placed and every single dollar is tracked. So our mission today is to unpack what's driving the need for these pretty sophisticated solutions. We'll look at the big shifts happening, the hurdles people face trying to adopt them.
And those are significant hurdles sometimes.
Definitely. And crucially, we'll look at the really exciting trends that are basically redefining the future of construction.
It's a great topic because, like you said, that pressure cooker environment in construction, it absolutely demands immediate financial oversight. You need crystal clear project transparency.
Or things can just go completely off the rails.
Fast.
Very quickly.
So, okay, it's a pressure cooker. What's the first thing this kind of integrated software actually does? What's the immediate pain point it solves for, say, a project manager?
I think the most transformative thing is the real-time visibility. Instantly.
Right. No more waiting for weekly reports that are already out of date.
Exactly. Suddenly, project managers get an immediate grip on costs, on resources, on expenses. We've actually seen studies showing companies using this tech can cut budget overruns by like up to 15%.
Wow, 15%. That's huge.
It's significant. And think about what that does for their competitive bidding. They can bid tighter, win more work. It really shifts them from just reacting to problems.
To actually managing proactively.
Precisely. Proactive management. That's the goal. That makes total sense. And that real-time view must be even more critical when you think about the sheer scale of the change happening across the whole industry. We're talking about moving away from, those old manual processes.
Oh, the stacks of spreadsheets.
The endless spreadsheets. I mean, who hasn't groaned when version 12 final lands in their inbox?
Exactly. And what's replacing them are these really sophisticated cloud-based platforms.
And they're not just digital spreadsheets, right?
No, not at all. They offer things like centralized dashboards, mobile access so the teams in the field are connected, automated workflows.
Ah, okay.
And the key thing is these tools don't just sort of organize data. They genuinely boost productivity. They streamline how people communicate.
So everyone's working from the same playbook, basically.
On a playbook,
Yep.
which also helps ensure regulatory compliance, and it fosters much, much better collaboration between the site teams and the office.
Okay, so beyond just getting organized, what's the real, game changer these cloud platforms bring when you're dealing with today's super complex projects? Because construction isn't simple anymore.
No, it really isn't. Modern projects are incredibly intricate.
Mm.
You've got multi-phase developments, these really layered subcontractor relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and constantly changing strict regulations. Trying to juggle all that with old methods. It's not just inefficient, it's basically impossible now.
Right. You can't keep up.
You just can't. And this specialized software becomes absolutely pivotal. It lets you do really granular job costing, detailed progress monitoring, and it maintains those complete, totally solid audit trails.
Which you absolutely need.
You absolutely need them. So this helps developers, engineers, contractors manage everything much more efficiently, especially when you've got those non-negotiable deadlines and quality standards. It's almost like giving them a digital co-pilot for every complex decision.
A digital co-pilot. I like that. Helping them navigate a constantly shifting landscape.
Exactly.
Okay, that all sounds incredibly positive. But, adopting new tech is rarely completely smooth sailing. What are some of the biggest roadblocks, the things that really trip companies up?
Well, probably the first major hurdle, especially if you're talking about small and medium-sized companies,
Yeah.
the SMEs,
Yeah.
it's definitely the high implementation cost. And it's not just buying the software license.
Right, there's more to it.
Oh, yeah. There are the licensing fees, sure, but also customization, which can be significant. Staff training, that's a big one. And then actually integrating the new system with whatever you're already using.
Quite can.
It all adds up. And that price tag can certainly scare off firms, especially if they have limited IT budgets. But here's an interesting point.
What's that?
What often gets missed is the cost of not adopting. Delaying this digital shift can actually cost even more down the line.
Oh, so.
Well, you might lose bids because you simply can't handle the digital requirements of complex projects. It kind of creates this digital divide among contractors.
Ugh. Ah, that's a really critical point. The hidden cost of inaction. Okay, so beyond the budget, there's always the people factor. Is there much resistance to change? That we've always done it this way mentality.
Oh, absolutely. That can be a huge challenge. You have construction professionals who are just deeply used to their traditional workflows.
Hmm.
And they might, understandably, hesitate to jump onto a new digital platform.
Yeah.
It's that classic scenario. I mean, I remember working with one firm. They insisted on physical blueprint reviews ages after digital was standard.
Wow. Still.
Yep. And if you have a lack of sort of digital comfort or literacy among the project teams, the field staff, that can seriously undermine a successful rollout.
Right. It limits the ROI, the return on investment.
Totally. Because if people aren't comfortable using the tool, it doesn't matter how great the technology is. You're not getting its full potential.
So true. It's not just buying the hammer, it's getting people to swing it properly.
Yeah.
And speaking of concerns, what about data security? Cloud reliability. That must be a big worry when you're handling sensitive financials and contracts.
Oh, they are critical anxieties. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fears about cyber attacks, potential system downtime, unauthorized access. These are very real concerns.
Understandably.
Yeah, when all that sensitive data is up in the cloud, it just highlights how essential it is to have strong IT infrastructure in place, robust compliance frameworks. basically everything needed to mitigate those risks.
And build trust, I suppose.
Exactly. Building trust in these systems is paramount. Without that trust, adoption is always going to be slower than it could be.
Okay. So despite those hurdles, costs, resistance, security, it sounds like the industry is moving forward. What are some of the really exciting innovations driving this market?
Well, one of the biggest shifts we're seeing is towards these comprehensive cloud-based solutions. So not just single-function apps, but platforms designed to unify everything.
Like what functions?
Accounting, project management, document control, even on-site reporting,
Hmm.
all brought together into one sort of cohesive ecosystem.
Ah, okay. So it breaks down those silos you often hear about.
Precisely. It gets everyone procurement, finance, operations aligned, looking at the same real-time information. That's truly transformative.
Gets everyone on the same page, literally. What else is changing things out on the actual construction site?
Another really powerful trend is mobile-first functionality.
So using phones and tablets more.
Yes, but it's more than just having an app. It's about genuinely empowering field staff to do critical tasks right there on their device. Imagine entering timesheets instantly, tracking expenses as they happen, submitting change orders from the site.
Oh, okay. I can see how that speeds things up.
Massively. The benefits are really clear. Better accuracy, much faster billing cycles, and just being more responsive on the ground because, in construction, delays literally cost money.
Every minute counts. And this sounds like where the really cool innovation kicks in, how this software is getting smarter by connecting with other tech.
Exactly. You're seeing advanced integrations becoming more common.
You mean connecting with things like BIM?
Yes, building information
Ah.
modeling, or ERP systems, enterprise resource planning.
And even IoT, the Internet of Things, pulling data from sensors on site. Wow. So what does that actually let the software do?
Well, these integrations unlock some pretty advanced capabilities. Things like predictive maintenance, anticipating equipment failures before they happen.
That's huge for avoiding downtime.
Huge. Also, dynamic cost planning that can adjust in real time as project conditions change. And even smarter deployment of resources,
All
powered by that live data coming in from the field.
So the software isn't just recording the past anymore.
Exactly. It's helping you anticipate what's going to happen and optimize for it. It's a shift from just historical reporting to genuine predictive intelligence.
So wrapping this up, it seems whether you're actually in the construction industry trying to modernize, or maybe you're a software vendor watching trends, or even just someone tracking investments, one thing is crystal clear. This market isn't just growing. It's really undergoing a profound transformation.
That's right. And understanding these dynamics is crucial, whatever your perspective. It's really about using technology not just to build structures, but to build more efficient, more transparent, and ultimately more resilient businesses.
And that brings us perfectly to our final thought for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. How will this industry continue to balance the sheer speed of digital progress, all these powerful new tools, with that very persistent, very human element of resistance to change? How do they ensure effective adoption and skill across all teams, especially on projects that can stretch out for years?